Firstly, I'd like to welcome all the visitor and all the viewer for this second series of our podcast session. Last year was really great in a sense that we have almost ensembled eight speaker during those monthly series. Somehow, one thing lead to another. We couldn't have a session in the month of April, but we thought let's begin the year with a bang. So this year, as we did last year as well, this year uh, we'll be having speakers who are from multiple disciplines. We may not be sticking only to HR domain itself. And the idea behind these session is to have a very informal conversation between these speakers, these achievers who are from multiple disciplines, just to get a perspective about them and get a perspective about life in general as we are heading to a new phase of life. And with that trias, quickly like to introduce Dr. Vishal Verma. Uh, my production team has given us a big initial speech about the man, but I'm short on words because he is a gentleman who is from multiple discipline. Uh, he is a gentleman who start a day in a garden as he's from a botany field. Throughout the entire day, he's busy hiring the developers and the geek. And in night, he is the gentleman who spent his time researching and applying for multiple research papers. Dr. Vishal, heading a leading IT company at this point of time. Besides being in HR and going through the rigmarole of hiring, he is the gentleman who's also understands psychology as a subject. He understands the use of psychology for hiring. He also authored a book on psychology and the interpretation of psychology for hiring. Uh, we at PMAPS reach out to various HR and we educate them in terms of psychology and how you can make your hiring better. But if you read that book, as written by Dr. Vishal, you come to know that psychology, though may be a dull subject, but can be a great value add, and it can be a big tool if you want to improve your hiring outcomes. Uh, so, with that context, Dr. Vishal, if you can quickly give a brief introduction in your kind words, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, Saurabh. It was a long, elaborated, introduction. Actually, I don't think I deserve that much of applause. But still, yes, I am a botanist by heart. Okay, so I did my PhD in botany, and but somewhere down the line, I was too much inclined to working with the HR department. Majorly into the psychological aspects of the HR department, not the hardcore industrial relations. Okay, that's also a glamorous part of the HR department. But I was personally not very much interested in industrial relation. Everyone has got its own choice, so I was more interested into the software part of the HR, working through the people. Okay, and then slowly I got interested into psychology, understanding of the psychology, thanks to all my mentors who have guided me to understand the psychology. So there from there, actually the journey for the HR began for me. Okay. And I worked for approximately 10 years into understanding of different psychometric tool. Still I think it's a too long, big vast subject to understand. It's not that easy so that we can understand. And coming about my book, actually, what happened is that I just tried to, get into small aspects of that, and I found that majority people, are downloading the details from the websites, be it MBTI, be it FIRO-B, be it any other test, and just trying to apply that. And honestly speaking, that's a wrong way of doing that. You need to be either certified as an psychometricians, or you can hire a psychometric organizations for preparing the psychometric report, and further your understanding and everything can be done. So what I took is the other part of that. So understanding of that, and from there, without going into detail of how actually to use the test, the test that is available on the internet or the website, and then using that test to develop get the report, rather than you can have a small outlook of that, understand all the personality type and everything, and then develop understanding of the type, and understand what can the type be, and accordingly plan on that. Another
Mm.
aspect that I worked on my book is that you have got everyone says that you have got introvert or extrovert, okay, but it's the team that has got its own behavior, okay,
Mm.
it has got its own psychometric properties, the organization has got its own psychometric property, no one analyzes that, okay, and just a person can be tagged as an introvert or an extrovert, and then on the basis of that the decision is being taken. That's a wrong way to do that. So I started with saying, a person who writes with the right hand or the person who writes with the left hand. Okay,
Mm.
it's you are comfortable with writing with your right hand, or you are comfortable writing with your left hand. Okay, that has nothing to do with your actually how you are going to behave. Okay,
Mm.
just the flow.
Yes.
So that is one of the purpose that is stuck in my mind, and thanks to all my mentor who helped me in that journey. So just you know compiled whatever I knew, compiled into the book, and just floated into the market. That's it.
Very, very humble of you, I think. Very humble of you, Dr. Vishal. Uh, now, Dr. Vishal, as the visitor are joining in, let me quickly set the context and let me go back to the topic that we have. That mindful hiring is a better hiring. Now, post COVID, sir, this subject mindfulness has gained ground. It was used widely after COVID because the world was in such a situation wherein the mindfulness as a concept become the become the need of the hour. But we have added an hiring to it, so now it become like a mindfulness hiring or a mindful hiring. What's your interpretation of this? And as an HR professional, what's your sense? How can we make hiring more mindful despite all these AI invasions and all these in the new workplace setting? What can be the way forward?
See, mindfulness is just that, to be very honest, in a layman language, if I explain it to not make it too complex, okay. If I say it as on a layman language, I would say that mindfulness is just being aware of the current scenario. Okay. You have a task in your hand. Okay, if I say, for example, when we relate it to HR or we relate it to hiring, when I am interviewing, or just for example, we are discussing here and some people are watching this. Okay. So maybe we can go for either they appear for interview with us, or I go for an interview to any organization that is there in this entire event that people are listening to us. So what happens is that we have a biasness in our mind that this person is this kind of person. Okay, or either what happens that when I work in an organization, since the organization is more of a a kind of the people in the organization are more of an introvert type of people or extrovert type of people, so I develop an biasness among that. And sometimes the regional things also happens, sometimes the favoritism towards the college. Okay, I passed out from this particular college, so I want to, people from those colleges are by default very intelligent because I am intelligent. So that's a thing that is coming into the mind of the people. Okay. The first thing when we call as mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness basically came from the Buddhist philosophy of sati and samagna. So when we talk about this thing, so it's basically you have to open up the thing and become first mindlessness. Okay, so you have to remove all those things that is there in your mind, and then be open to the discussion. So what happens is that, say for example, I'm sitting for taking an interview of an employee. Okay, so if I hear him properly, and there are various things that are being worked on. Okay, the first thing is that you need to ask. What we actually do is to ask the employee, rather or a prospective candidate, what is happening, rather than asking ourselves. Okay, that whether whatever he is trying to say, am I able to understand that? Okay, or
True.
am I or am I making an assumption that he is trying to say that? Say for example, if the person has worked with some some processes, or the person has done some project. If we are talking about fresh candidate, the person has worked with some projects in the in the institute. Okay, so am I trying to make an assumption because he has passed from a particular school, okay, or passed from a particular stream, be it marketing, HR, psychology, MS psychology, sociology, whatever the subject the pattern is coming, because HR is a department that is open door for everybody. So what is happening is that when the people, I make an assumption that because this person is coming from a arts background or from an English literature background, this person has got this kind of competences, and he will be or she will be not able to do the work. Okay. So am I making the assumption, or I am understanding what the person is saying and accordingly building up the thing? Okay. So, and first thing that first I have to give the full attention, and I have to remove the biasness. I'll give you a simple example to remove the biasness that would help most of the HR fraternity people working here in development team. That the biasness comes majorly because of the reason, say, college, okay, regional, okay. Some has got with due respect to everybody, some have got to religion related discriminations. Okay. So there are different kinds of discrimination and biasness that is there in the mind. Okay. So if you are not biased, let's try one thing. Okay. Prepare a blind resume of the candidate that you are trying to send. Because what happens is
So,
that when it
so
is
sir,
an HR,
yeah. So, sir, are you saying blind resume in a sense that there is no name at the top, no mention of even the engineering college or the graduate college? This
yes,
is what you
yes,
are referring?
yes, exactly. That's the point.
Okay.
Okay, so what will happen here is that the person, because what happens if you are hiring for HR department, fair enough, you are the person, you are taking the decision for that. But if you are hiring for marketing, or you are hiring for production, or for any software related technology, the project manager takes the one of the important call while shortlisting the CVs. Okay. So if you remove the name, okay, so the removing the name removes the regional as well as the
Hmm.
religion related biasness. Okay, if you remove the college name, okay, there is no biasness related to college affinity.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you remove all those things, actually you're removing the biasness. Okay, because it is not possible that to everybody to be a mindful hiring person.
Hmm. True. Agree.
So, being an HR, what we can do is to get an set up a system so that the mindfulness part actually slowly comes indirectly into the people who are doing the taking the interviews, who are not into the HR part, the technical interviews that are taking. So we can work on this kind of thing. Okay, so mindfulness in hiring is very important, because we talk a lot about diversity and inclusion.
Hmm.
Okay, but
Yes,
when
sir.
this kind of biasness comes into the picture, okay, that's diversity and inclusion just becomes a jargon for all the organization, and everything goes for a toss. Okay, so why don't we actually give them the opens? They do not, the technical team or the project team or the marketing, whosoever are the the subject matter expert, they are unaware of anything. They are unaware that the candidate is a male or a female. They are unaware whether they are passing out from a college, or passing out from which state. Okay, irrespective of everything, they become blind. Okay, then they take a call that is very important. So CV shortlisting can be there, and further when we are taking the interviews, we can always be present there.
Hmm. Sir, very delightful thought and noble at the same time. So you are saying let's hide the name so that at least all the biasness concerning to religion, region completely washed away. This is what you are saying. So that when a subject matter expert look at the resume, he or she may not have any biasness pertaining to that.
Right.
My goodness. So that's right. did you try this at your company, or are you in the
Uh,
process of implementing this?
Actually, what is happening in my organization, the organization that I am heading, the HR department, we do not have that kind of biasness. But I have seen biasness with other organization. Okay, so that is where the that is where this idea came into the picture. But in our organization, we hardly matter whosoever is there. Okay, neither the HR department cares, neither the technical teams cares. The person has
Absolutely.
to explain what the project he has done. Okay, all the selection and everything is on the basis of the project, irrespective of what the where they are coming from. If we because we are having our offices in Kolkata and Bangalore. Okay, we just ask one question: where is your preferred location, Kolkata or Bangalore? Okay, so if you have requirement in Kolkata, we will say we are have requirement in Kolkata. If you are ready to come to Kolkata, we are open for you. Where from you are coming, we don't care.
Got it, sir. Sir, this is quite a novel idea, but one question I have pertaining to this. Now, sir, when this interview happened, and I'm culprit of it because I generally think, interview is a very biased process. But when an interview happened, you can remove the name of these candidates from the resume and everything, but still there are a lot of unconscious biasness is there. Say, for example, the way somebody laughed, somebody smiled during the interview, or somebody prompt to a questions, we make a judgment about this individual in a snap judgment manner. How should how should a how should a young recruiter who's getting into this field, how should they be mindful of these unconscious biases that happen? And is there any hack to get rid of these issues?
See, honestly speaking, Saurabh, it's practice. Nothing like that. Okay. What happens is that when we started our career, okay, we were having affinity to our local people from where we came from. Okay, and if the person is coming into HR department and it comes from the biology background, and especially if it is in botany, he or she, then by default he becomes the the best person to work in under me in the entire world.
Yes.
Okay, so that used to happen with me. Okay, so it took time for me to understand that I have to do away with the things and live in the present. This is the task in my hand, and my responsibility while selecting even my team is that the team should be delivering to the organization. Once this concept is clear in my mind, okay, irrespective of whether the affinity is there or not, I will take the call.
Mm.
I'll take a decision on the basis of requirement of my job rather than on the basis of my affinity. That is why the mindfulness is important to understand that we have to live in the current scenario, in the present. Okay. What happens is that we actually carry some baggages from the past, okay, and make some assumption for the future.
Mm.
Once we are there in the present, then we will be able to do things, and present is the responsibility that has been assigned to me.
Absolutely. Agree.
And this all assumptions for future or baggages are because of my I have not opened up the thing, so I'm not mindful.
So basically, there is no quick hack. You just need to practice. Just be mindful that you can be biased at first place, and hence you can work around. Okay,
Slowly
that's
slowly it will take time, but it will get resolved.
okay. So moving on from that, one quick debate that is happening now is that as a recruiter, should we focus more on hard skill or should we focus more on soft skill? So let's suppose if you're hiring a developer, do you think we should only check his coding expertise or should we also check the behavioral expertise, whether he has an inclination to work hard, whether he's conscientious, or do you think there is a certain behavioral competency that he possesses? So, what's your sense? Because I know recruiter, including you always are in huge pressure to complete certain targets in terms of filling the job roles. So, how should a new recruiter who's stepping in should that person way forward? Should he focus more on toward the hard skill or a soft skill?
Saurav, this is a very tricky question. Okay, because I'm a little unconventional. I've been known for unconventional style of working, okay. And I do not usually agree to most of the people. Most people says that yes, you should hire for soft skill. The hard skill can be trained. Okay, it's not that easy to train even on the hard skill.
Okay.
Okay. If that would be the case, every pro developer would have been a very good developer. Okay, so
Yes.
there is a no comparison on that. Okay. So there are good developers, there are not so good developer. I will not say bad. No, none of the developer are bad, but it depends upon the requirement of the organization. So there are good developers and there are not so good developers. Okay. So hard skill by default becomes important.
Mm.
But at the same time, when I say the soft skill part of that, that is also important because the employee, we are a social animal. We do not survive in a single unit. We are
Mm.
not just sitting on our laptop because this COVID period has actually given us altogether a different dream where we worked in an isolation, but we cannot survive in isolation. We have to go for into a team behavior. We have to go into interacting with each other. The moment this interaction and this team behavior comes into the picture, your soft skill comes into the picture.
True. True.
So by default, both of them it plays equally important part. Okay. You cannot have a good, very good, sophisticated person who is a very good speaker, very good communicator, good in personality, good in everything, and not a good developer. He is good for nothing. Okay,
But
but
sir,
at the same time, you, huh,
but as a but I know, sir, because I know my viewers, they would be asking a quick hack. What is what is your view? Is there any weightages that we can ascribe? So, for example, you can say,
I would
70 was
suggest 70% let's go for technical and 30% go let's go for the behavioral aspect. Okay.
okay.
It depends upon the hierarchy. The more you go on the hierarchy, the more the behavioral aspect becomes important rather than technical. But still,
Mm.
you cannot make 100%. It has to be maximum of 60-40 ratio when it is going to the higher. So 60 behavioral, 40 technical aspects. Okay. For junior, it will be more of a 70% technical and 30% and since as I also work with the software industry, we have huge numbers to be hired. Okay. And at the same time, not only numbers to be hired, we lots of interviews. The offer to joining ratio is always less in IT industry. The number of interviews that we are taking is very high comparative to number of being people offered. I would suggest that you can go for any organization or any company that can provide you with more of a psychometric test done. Okay, so reports are available. You can just go through report. Okay, and when you any organization you select, be it any organization or any form of psychometric test that you are taking. Always remember, get the training done by the same organization so that it can make you understand how to study the reports.
Right.
Okay. Because reports, when we see the reports, it seems to be very easy to understand, but it is not that easy. Working long in the psychometric field, I can understand that even one page report that seems to be very simple, and the figure on the top says about that this person has got a 60% predictability, but sometimes we overrule that decision because if we can understand the report. So get the training from the same organization. We are taking from the psychometric tool from there, and that will help you reduce the time. Okay. You can just send them the test. The test will be there. You see the psychometric test. Just scroll down as you have been already trained on that. When you scrolling down the entire the report, you can understand what should I proceed or not proceed.
Right.
So that
So
will
that's a
give you a fast work to do.
yeah. So besides onboarding a tool, you should also train your HR team so that they know how to interpret the report.
Interpret that,
Yeah,
because the
that's a very
major problem occurs in that part only. Okay. Because every organization, you open Google and type a psychometric test provider in India or in abroad or anywhere. Okay, you will get thousands of organizations. The
right.
problem is that understanding the report. The problem is not the report. The problem is understanding the report, because all the psychometric test that has been developed by any organization has taken at least 2 to 3 years to develop that test. So
Yes.
it's not that easy to develop the test, and not easy to understand that test. So get the training done also, that will actually help you understand that.
Very valid point, sir. I think from one version to another version and getting a reliability move from 0.78 to 0.82, it almost take at least 2 years. I completely agree from where you're coming. I completely agree. And hence, there have to be training of the HR team also so they can drive the change. Very, very valid point, sir. Sir, one, this thing lead me to another question. In fact, you only said that offer to joining ratio is very less. In fact, sir, there are so many visitors, so many viewers come to our blogs and write all this. Is there any tool which can predict that person will only take an offer letter, will not join? Can you predict this? And this is a, if you go to any of the HR forum, this is a tech stack that everybody wants, right? So that, in fact, I still remember I was talking to an HR head and this person said, I will buy the assessment. You tell me, can you predict even 30% who will join my company after taking an offer letter? So again, I'm so sorry, I'm again coming back to the hack. But is there any hack to predict this? Or is there any solution to this? And first of all, why does it even happen? And what's your sense of all this?
See, again, I will say that being unconventional, you have got people who are going to, thrash you up when they actually hear me what I am going to say. The problem actually happens is that, uh, we all HR professionals are guilty for that. Okay, I will not make it the candidates responsible for that. And at the same time, we are also not that much guilty. We have got a target to achieve, we have got a numbers to match. Okay. So what we actually do is that, uh, you know uh, one or employee has got some certain offer, we do the counter offer, then other company do the counter offer, and so on. Okay. So whatsoever we write on the LinkedIn, that people leave organizations for this reason. But or you can ask to any person who is into talent acquisition and hiring, they will say that the majority of the reason that the people are leaving the organization is because of the compensation. If that is not the case, okay, why the person who has been offered or leaving the organization because of the culture issue to other organization asking for a salary hike? So if I am working with alumnus, heading the HR department for Alumnus Software Limited, if I am not happy with the organization, I would join PMAPs at the same salary. So salary would not be an important factor if the manager is important, if the culture is important. And if in case the salary is important, I am asking Saurabh that will join your organization if you give me a 50% hike or 80% hike or 100% hike. Then the hike is becomes important for me rather than the culture important.
Right.
So that
Absolutely.
actually gives us the understanding with what kind of person that the person is.
Oh, oh,
So
right.
when it is a game for compensation, okay, so it will be difficult. If it had been the game for related to culture, related to manager, we all HR are strong enough to change everything. But
True.
when it is becoming to the landing to the compensation part, it is very difficult to come up with a solution. So till the time we all HR accept that yes, we will not counter offer to any candidate who have already submitted or who has got an offer. Okay. Till that time, we will keep on fighting, and we will keep on asking on every forum that yes, we should have an hack or everything. Okay. So we all HRs come to a this conclusion that yes, we are not going to offer a candidate who has got a notice period, who has already got an offer from other organization.
Mm.
In that sense, it is very easy, and there is no requirement of any hack or anything. Till that time, the only hack is how much you can pay.
Sir, okay. So, sir, it can be a bad news for a job seeker, right? If all HR colluded and come with this pact or an informal pact, that they will not give a counter offer, then this can be this problem, or you can say, blessing for the candidate can go away.
Up to some extent, yes, but it will actually help the candidates in a long run.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like a
Why did
homeopathy medicine.
why did you say that it can be a problem in the long run? Can you stress on that once for us?
No, no, I said it will be not a problem in the long run. Okay, it will
Mhm.
cool down. Initially, it may seems that if I am looking forward for a quick change, I get a job. I have got an offer of 5 lakhs from here. Other will offer 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, and at the end of the day, at the time my 90 days or 60 days notice period get over, I am having an offer of. I started with 4 lakhs, what my current CTC is, and I am having an offer of 15 lakhs.
Sir, this was happening too much in between 2021 to 2022. So many candidates, right? They were
Still it is
shopping
happening
around.
up to some extent. No doubt, still it is happening. But yes, slowly we also are gearing up. Okay, you have the offer. Okay, you have the offer. Keep that offer. I cannot afford you. Okay, the moment people start saying this, okay, the entire market will, if it is, if
Yeah,
this forum is only for HR.
absolutely. I completely agree. I think fair enough, sir. Sir, one leading question from here is, there are so many HR tech industry has erupted in last 7 years. I think 8 years back there were only few psychometric assessment players, but now you check LMS, you check ATS, you check the LMS tools, you check even the entire employee engagement dashboards. So there are so many tech stacks are there. What is your sense? Do you think the tech has invaded HR as a profession, or do you think HR will be getting will HR practice will become better with these tech stack, or where is the line that we need to draw as an HR professional?
Honestly speaking, Saurav, I would say thank you, every all HR tech companies for making our life a little bit easier.
Okay, sir, I thought
And
you're going
it's
to
a
reprimand.
no, no, not at all. And it's a demand supply analysis. Okay, and usually what used to happen that some organization was looking forward for HR tech related environment. Okay, so there were only some companies that were supplying that. So when the demand is increasing, more HRs are getting into this understanding the importance of the HR tech, using HR tech technologies for that, and outsourcing some of the part that is more of what we call as the mundane activities. So that is helping us a lot to concentrate on more of a strategic part. Say for example, if I have a dashboard making organization. Okay, so I do not need to open up my Excel sheet, do all the kinds of formulas and everything, and prepare a dashboard. Okay, and every time what happens, the organization, any employees is joining or leaving the organization, or there is change in a CTC or change in a designation, I have to update that. I do not need to update that. That is all done on automatically. So that is the advantage that is given by the HR tech organization. Okay. Some people would not agree to me. Okay, because people says that HR is more of a human relation kind of thing, and because of this human relation is being disrupted. But I would not agree to this point of view at all, because this is giving you an opportunity to interact more with the people rather than focusing on your mundane activity. So you do not need to sit on your Excel sheet and do the work, rather than go to and talk to the people. So you use the same time to interact with the people rather than sitting on your Excel sheet.
Yeah,
Okay, so
true.
let the tech organization, and you cannot have all the people know everything. Okay, that's, for example, I started in saying that I was more into the softer part of the HR rather than industrial relation or labor laws kind of thing, because that was not my I would say that I did not liked it much because of certain reason. I came from altogether a different background, so it was difficult for me to understand those things. But when I say that yes, we can, we have those people are also enabled with the AI coming into the picture, and when you go into the Chat GPT and say that this is the case that I want to have the response rate, so that can find all the cases related to that, and on the basis of a study, so your work has become easier and easier. So you do
Yeah.
not need to open up all the label or reporters and see which what cases was there, and you get a snapshot and at the same time, and take it easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can have those things where the time that you are invested in understanding the labor laws and all the cases, so you can give it to the chatbots, okay, or chat gpt say, or you can take about bard has already been released in India, so you can talk about bard, or any AI tool that will enable you to do all those things, prepare a summary for you, you can read that summary, and the time that you saved out of reading all those cases, yeah, you can go and talk to the labor and establish your relationship. That is what industrial relation talks about. Okay,
Mm.
so that is actually enabling us to do more, be more productive rather than making us a dumb man. Okay, so people would say AI is making us dumb. I would say they are making us smarter, that all the mundane activities they are taking care of, and we can focus on the reason why we are there in the organization. HR department in an organization is because of a reason, and that reason we can do while we are working on those areas and giving out outsource all to the tech companies.
Mm. So tech is not a bane; it's a boon for especially for the HR fraternity, and they
Yes,
should lap
I
it
would
up.
I would I would say with confidence to this thing.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, one more question after this is, sir, hiring is a complex subject. You said, there are, you need to practice on it, you need to master, you have to understand that you are biased, and then there are so many unconscious bias for which you need to practice. In fact, one of our viewer has asked a question on this as well. In fact, I'll populate here. And but the question is, imagine a scenario that your company doesn't have these tech solutions or the psychometric solutions, but you still need to make a better decision as far as hiring is concerned. And let's suppose you are getting into an interviewing a candidate and you don't possess all these data set. So what are the quick tricks that an interviewer should be mindful of, or should make his or her hiring better? Maybe a quick, maybe a quick one, two, three, a
Okay,
quick
I
hack.
think this question is from Shashank.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, Shashank, I would say, got an opportunity to sell my book here. Okay. So, you can definitely, there are a number of things that you can understand about the personality just by the way we talk to each other. Okay, the kind of words the person is using, the kind of the body language and everything gives you an opportunity. In case you are not able to, I would definitely suggest to go for any psychometric tool. Okay, by an organization, don't try that all available on Google for free. Okay, I have never recommend that. So depending upon the size of the organization, you can go for a smaller test or something else. In worst case scenario, try to understand the personality. It takes time. There is nothing that it took years for us to understand people. Okay, so what you can go and understand on the basis of different aspects of the personality, just by having a quick discussion with them. Keep a cue card ready with you. Okay, this kind of personality, these are the key points for this kind of personality. So when you are talking, you can understand. It will take a couple of practices. That is slowly you will develop. Okay. So that is what I said earlier, that it takes years to develop a psychometric tool, and it takes years to develop a what we say as understanding of the people. When I
Mhm.
started my career, I used to say, my boss does not do much of the work. All the work is outsourced to me. Okay.
Mhm.
When I am becoming a senior resources in the organization, I can understand what pain my boss used to go through when I was not performing. or I was, even though I used to perform good, but still my boss used to has lots of pressure other than what the general activities are there. Okay, so it takes time for us to accept the things. That is why what I said, mindfulness is the practice that you need to do. Then slowly you keep a cue card ready with you, and you will able to get all those things done in a manner, but it will take time. Don't be in a hurry, it will actually lead to nowhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, we have dropped the link also of the book. Anybody who want to know, more about this science, you can download that book. Sir, before we move to a Q&A session, I want to ask one last question. In fact, we meet so many new HR who use our platform. There are many various HR professionals who join this. There are a lot of colleges which now train people on HR practices. They join as a junior HR executive, or they join as an HR manager. Now the world has changed now, sir. But what is your key career advice to our viewers who are joining this podcast? What can be your key career advice to them? Or the few areas that they need to work, because on one hand the tech is evading this space. They can be your friend, but what is your quick career advice to our viewers?
See, HR is a subject that is interdisciplinary. Okay, because marketing is related to marketing, finance is related to finance, operation is related to operations. Okay, HR is the only stream which has it's multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary as and interdisciplinary at the same time. Okay, so if you want to be a good HR professional, you need to have good in everything. You need to be good in marketing, you need to be good in operations, you need to be good in finance. Okay, I do not say very good or extraordinary, but you need to be a good. Okay, so a person who is into the marketing or into the finance need to understand finance and marketing only. Okay, that's not the that's the one disadvantage HR has, that they have to understand marketing, they have to understand finance, they have to talk to the finance in their language, talk to the marketing people in their language. Okay, none of them understand the HR language. Okay,
Yes,
and we do not
absolutely.
expect them to understand that. Okay, and as since we have been talking about HR tech organization, technology, analytics, psychometry. Okay, maybe that in some of the students, maybe some of the students are there. Okay, it is not taught in your organization or institute. Okay, yeah, there are ample of opportunity to learn it from anywhere. Okay, learn all those technicalities, learn how digital transformation is done. Okay. Learn analytics, even though you outsource it to the third party organization, any organization that will be doing your HR tech part. Okay, but you need to be on the upper hand, driving hand. You cannot leave everything on the organization that you have outsourced. So you need to be good at all the streams of the organization. Say for example, if I'm working in an HR IT industry, I have to understand what is Java, what is Python, what is everything. Okay, what is the difference between Node and React? What is the difference between Angular and React? Okay, so both of them are front end tool, but I need to understand the difference. If I am not able to understand the difference, I cannot be the first interactive person in the organization that will be getting the CVs from different sources. Okay, so that is where we have to be very active and understand all those things. Okay. And at the same time be more tech savvy. At the same time, I would suggest for all the students or the young professionals into the HR, start reading psychology. Okay, you can start with introduction of the psychology by Morgan. Okay,
Mm.
maybe it will be a little boring for you because
Sir, can you repeat the title for our viewers, sir, once more?
it's a Introduction to Psychology by Morgan. Okay, there are a number of authors, but it is popularly known by Morgan. Okay, so you start with that. Okay, it might seem initially that it has got nothing to do with the HR department, but once you understand, go deep into that, then you will be understanding everything about the psychology. Once you understand psychology, move to organizational psychology and occupational psychology. Okay, Once you understand organizational psychology and occupational psychology, you understand almost all the, at least 30 to 40% of the HR, and rest is all technical part. You will most of the thing, how to work with the provident fund, or how to work with the ESOP, or how to work with the compensation, payroll and everything. Or if you are working in US, how to work with the different defined benefit, defined contribution and everything, that you will be in case you will be getting into the organization and learn. You cannot learn it from the book, so, or in the institute. That you will learn in the organization, and we are happy to make you learn, subjected to you, whether you understand psychology and little bit of understanding. For example, if we talk about Maslow's need hierarchy theory, everyone in organization in the institute starts from Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Okay, so if I put into a scenario case study or based system, or a scenario based, and make you ask you a question, can you explain in this scenario what will be the where will be the what will be at what level this person or that person is into the
Operates.
Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Okay, so if you cannot explain that, that means that you have not actually understood Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Okay. So for freshers, we expect that you understand all this philosophy. And believe me, for those into 3, 4 years, 5 years of experience, they would say that all those philosophies, all those theories that we have been reading in our MBA days are good, not good. Okay, are not used, not good. I sorry, a wrong word that I used. Not used. Okay, but when you grow and make a 10 years plus experience, when you are having 10 plus experience, all those theories become important, and by
Yes.
that time you have forgot everything. Okay, so keep on revising. Okay, there is nothing more than study, study, study. Okay, in HR you have to study a lot if you have to be a good HR.
So advice for all young HR executive out there: you need to study a lot. It's a multidisciplinary field. You need to dabble into psychology as a subject to make your hiring and your hiring decision better. Sir, one quick question came. It's about, what do you think assessment should be the first step of evaluation, or it should come as a second step? That is the same going back, whether the hard skills should be the first, or the soft skills should be the first, or what should be the criteria? Over to you, sir.
See, I think this question is from Shivani.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shivani, I would say that assessment should be second in the line. Okay, not the first, because the first is that I said, if the person, if you are hiring for an IT organization, or you are hiring for marketing things, if that particular requirement does not fit, even that person is very good, very humble, that is not going to impact your business line. Okay, today's HR need to understand about that we are a business people, we are driving the business. Okay, we are not just here to do our job, we are driving the business, and we are the person who are getting the people in. Okay, they will be driving the business, so directly, indirectly, we are driving the business. So you need to understand that business is very important. So once the business becomes important, so I would say that first criteria, that if the skill sets are matching, that is required according to your job description, then go for assessment, and then go for the further test. Okay, so first point first, that yes, the skill set should match. Okay, or else don't waste your time on assessment, even for behavioral assessment. If the skill sets are matching, then go for behavioral assessment, but when it comes to freshers, go for the behavioral assessment first. Okay,
Mm.
because you cannot expect a technical expertise from them.
So for the fresher, the behavioral assessment is better because, and for the, yes, I completely agree. I completely agree, sir. Sir, one quick, another one that came is, uh, can assessment ease this for HR? So basically, I think the question was, does this assessments, does this another layer of assessment add the process for HR? Because many a time, sometimes it chokes the hiring funnel. So do you think assessment should be considered as something which is choking the hiring funnel, or how what's your stance on this debate?
I think, Saurabh, I have answered this question of Sonali earlier also.
Hmm, hmm.
Okay. Definitely, assessment should be the part of the entire HR process, be it a
Yes.
psychometric test, be it any kind of test, any kind of psychometric tool. That depends. You have the HR team sit together and decide on the which kind of tool that we are going to hire, okay, or which consultant or which kind of thing. Assessment always helps the HR to do away with the biasness.
Mm.
Okay. And if, say, for example, you are using MBTI tool, because my book talks a lot about MBTI. Okay. If you are using the MBTI tool, also analyze and understand the type of your team. Okay. Your team is ESTJ or EFJ or whatever the personality of the 16 personality type. What is the type of the team that the person will be joining in? The problem happens when the team's personality is
Doesn't match.
entire contradiction with the personality of the individual. Then the problems comes. If the problem it does not come that the person is extrovert introvert, that works. Okay, because the team is made of many extrovert, many introvert.
So a group full of ISTP may not gel with one new ESTJ, right? This is what you are saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So you need to understand the type, okay, the personality type of the team, and accordingly fix the time type of a individual into that team.
Okay, but I think, sir, what you are saying, I think there are a lot of young HR executives. They are saying, some new question has came, but don't you think there is a feeling that it's an additional task? Administering an assessment at the top of hiring funnel can be an additional task.
You are responsible for something that you should be good at.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are taking a wrong decision because avoiding a funnel, additional work, and you are taking a wrong decision, then your decision is going to impact the profitability of the organization. Your decision
Anyhow.
is going to impact the entire organization. Okay, you can, if you want to see, there are n numbers of different videos on LinkedIn. One single wrong hiring has destroyed the entire organization. There are ample of examples throughout the world. Okay, so
Absolutely.
better being a responsible, we are very responsible department. Okay, so be a little responsible, add a funnel. Okay, that's not going to, you're not going to do the assessment. Okay, that you have the assessment organization that will do. All you need to just go through the the report and just analyze on that report and read to the conclusion. Moment it will be difficult for initially for one or two assessment paper, 1 or 2 months, but once you are frequent with that, you will just go through at a glance. For example, I have been doing that, so I just see on the glance and I can understand what kind of person it is. Okay, and takes a call.
Sir, I know I'm running short of time, but one more question has come. Uh, what is the cost? Okay, I think there is an additional cost to this. So many a time we face the issue wherein the HR team feel it's an added cost to the company. How do we address it? So a young HR
uh,
executive, despite knowing the benefit of this, how should this person convince the business head and the HR heads that okay, let's go ahead with any of these tech interventions?
Find out in your organization, find out that there are lots of even if your organization is small, big, medium, okay, there are some hiring mistake. Okay, that has been done. If you are not using any tool, find out that case study. Okay, present that case study. Because of this reason I was not able to do. If I will get an opportunity to have a psychometric assessment tool or HR tech organization, that would not be in a case. So let us try a pilot study with a small set of small set. Okay, maybe we will not take 100 units or thousands units. Okay, we will start with 20 units. If this it is successful, then it's there is a thing what we say in HR. There is an 8-step model by Kotler. Okay,
Sir, okay,
one
for
of
my visitor, can you repeat this? Can you repeat this? Yeah. Eight-step model
eight step change model for by Kotler. Okay, so that actually said one of the is you have to celebrate the quick wins.
Hmm.
Okay, so once you celebrate the quick wins, and you can say that yes, I won that because I was having a support of the psychometric tool. Okay, be it smaller, I took 20. Okay, I paid only for 20. I administered on one set of candidate, and I was successful in that. Okay, once you can show and make up case study, then you will be able. The similar happens with the HR analytics team. Okay, in most of the organization, HR analytics team say organizations say that we do not need the HR analytics team. Okay, they cannot predict anything, they cannot prescribe anything, but once they are able to showcase that yes, we have actually done, then it establishes the time.
Got it, sir. Got it. I think I understood. I think uh, I completely your views resonate with most of us. In fact, but sir, there are hardly a lot of companies, especially who are in these the what you can say that companies who hire in bulk. They maybe sometime because they need to hire in bulk, they many a time they tends to make more hiring mistakes, and they because they don't have time, and there's the time is very precious commodity for them, and because of this, I completely agree your thought process. But there are a lot of companies out there who find it very difficult to do it under the cost, speed of hiring, time to hire. They have a very short matrices to achieve, and because of that these issue can surface.
That is what I sort of said, that don't go for 1000, buying 1000 units, because all the psychometric tests are sold in units. Okay, I would never say ask them to go for 1000 units. Okay,
Yeah.
buy 10 units, 20 units, administer it. Okay, see the response. If you are convinced that yes, this is happening, then you can say to your organization that 20 units gave me this result. If I would get 100 units, that would give this result. Scale up that thing.
Yeah.
That is what I said, the HR need to also at the same time and have the knowledge of statistics, mathematics, and research aptitude.
Multidisciplinary. Yeah. Completely.
Multidiscipline.
Yeah, yeah. I think, sir, I can only take last, but this question came from a LinkedIn user. This person is saying, uh, personality report need to be personality report be very easy to comprehend or build in such a way that only a certified practitioner be able to comprehend. Okay. Sir, how do you
I
think? Do
think
you think
Saurabh, you would be in the better position to answer that question.
I think, sir, I believe that it need to be written in a more simpler term because nowadays what is happening, the business heads, for example, somebody like you understand this in detail, but when you show this report to a business head want maybe a more simplistic report, and they want a quick summary of a candidate. So yeah, but what's your take, sir? If you can sum it up
I
in
would
less than a
say
minute.
both, yeah, it would be both. Okay, a summary would be suitable for those people who are there, but a detailed one is required when you want to hire senior people. Okay,
Yes,
it may be that when you are hiring junior candidates, 1 year, 2 years experience, that would be very easy to see the summary and decide on that. But you need a very detailed 15 page, 50 pages even it is there to understand, because when you are hiring senior person, because senior person, the more you become a senior, the more you are responsible towards the organization. One
absolutely.
decision you say take, right or wrong, is impacting the
It,
organization.
it can sink the company. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I think, sir, with that, I think I need to take this to session toward the ultimate closure, sir. Firstly, thanks for all the audience who, I know this session was lined up before the end of weekend, or you can say before the start of a weekend. I know it's not rightly timed, but thanks for being a very engaging audience, and not to forget, thanks Mr. Vishal for being part of this session. I think you're a torchbearer for a lot of these new HR who are coming in. Thanks for being so candid. In your term, you were very unconventional, sir, saying that we should how to handle improve the time to join ratio, offer to joining ratio, how to use psychometric, and all those practices. Thanks for being part of this session. And thanks to all the visitor and the viewer out there. We'll catch you next time, next month with another esteemed guest for us, for you all. I don't know whether that person can be as multidisciplinary as Dr. Vishal is, but we'll try our best. And thanks for being a wonderful audience. Thanks all of you. Thanks for this session.
Thanks, Saurabh. Thank you everyone for patient hearing. Okay, I know that it is very difficult to hear a person constantly talking for 1 month, 1 hour.
So
Okay, but
you were engaging. You were engaging.
I hope so. I was able to answer all the questions. Okay. In any case, if there is any question, you can always reach out to me over LinkedIn, and further detail you can get it from Saurabh. So Saurabh will be person who will taking care of. So I will be very happy to help. Okay. I got many mentors who have helped me a lot, and I would be love to if I get mentees who can change the world for us, better for us.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful audience. Thanks a lot for this session. See you next time around. Yeah, thank you.